Welcome to the week 25 tech and productivity updates. Really just 3 items this week worth looking at. The first one on the 18th, Claude Code Artifacts, which turned code sessions into shareable artifacts. So those are things like PR walkthroughs, dashboards, system explainers, release checklists, basically things that are generated naturally kind of as you're going through a coding session. And so those artifacts update in place. They also keep version history and can be shared. I believe that's only on enterprise plans, but basically after a coding session, you're able to get these artifacts that are useful for other people. Maybe you're collaborating with them on a similar project. You want to be able to share it with them. And so now there's this automatic system for generating those artifacts and then sharing them in a secure way. It's currently in beta for Claude Team and Enterprise only. Also on the 18th, the company behind the Bear note-taking app introduces a new Markdown editor. It's called Lettera. It's built on a previous project, basically spun off from some of the work they had updating Bear to version 2.0. And so Lettera is a standalone native Markdown editor for macOS. It works as a single file editor or a folder-based writing workspace. So a simpler version of Obsidian is one way to think about it. I also made a video about different Markdown editors for the desktop, and it's doing something very similar to what we see with all those other apps, just bringing their own Bear flair to it, which means that the actual Markdown editing is really nice and hard to replicate even with some of these other competitors. It supports pretty much all the Markdown that Bear currently supports. So if you're familiar with the app or like how it works, you're probably going to find a lot to like in this new application. It's also currently available as a test flight beta. If we look at the app, here is what it looks like. I've already downloaded and played with it a little bit. It's kind of interesting. It's got a left-hand sidebar, very similar to a lot of other brand new Markdown desktop apps. On the right-hand side, we also get some additional information like the different headings. We also get some metrics on the number of words or sentences on the page. We also get access to, with this button right here, some additional formatting options for the Markdown, but pretty similar to all the other apps we've seen. So this is that single file editor setup, and the folder as a workspace. It's really just the left-hand sidebar. So the same kind of things you would see with all these other apps, just that additional Bear Markdown styling. So like I said, right now it's available as a test flight beta, but they do mention it will have probably a price and probably a subscription sometime in the future. But if you're on Mac, looking for a Markdown editor, maybe check this one out. And lastly, on the 17th, ChatGPT adds scheduled tasks. This is what Pulse used to be for the people that use that. So scheduled tasks now have a dedicated page in ChatGPT. Those tasks can run at specific times or in broad windows like morning, in the afternoon, or evening. And these are available to Plus, Pro, Business, and Enterprise users. Like I mentioned, Pulse was previously the service that ChatGPT had that did this. You would give it topics or news items or things you wanted it to do, and then it would run automatically in the background and then update and let you know when you opened up ChatGPT or send you notifications when the scheduled job was supposed to run. So now that's been moved into this new scheduled section. Here's what that looks like right here in the left-hand sidebar. Under library, you'll find the new scheduled option. And here they have some presets, some ideas to get you started. So for example, if we turn on daily brief, it'll walk you through a couple of questions, ask you the kinds of topics you're interested in for the daily brief, around what time you want to actually be informed, and so on. And then once it's set up, you'll be able to view it and update it. Previously, I think that was a little bit difficult to do, at least through the web application, but I've already tested it and it works pretty well. So if you like to run scheduled tasks, maybe daily updates, or you're interested in receiving regular information about topics, or you're looking at some news items or something like that, now you can do that straight from ChatGPT and receive it as a push notification on your devices. And that is it for this week. Really not a lot to speak of. Obviously, there are a lot of smaller things going on, but these were the main ones, the ones that I thought were interesting for the channel. So be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe so you don't miss out next week's update. And hopefully we'll have a lot more interesting things to talk about. So till then, I'll see you in the next one.